Welcome to the podcast Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook, where we will discuss the latest and most relevant business strategies to help you do one thing extremely well: sell more homes. We'll discuss everything from business planning to lead generation and conversion to past client customer service and everything in between. Join us for authentic conversations and nuts and bolts takeaways you can implement into your business today. And now, Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Selling Real Estate with Kelly Cook. And Kelly Cook is, of course, with us today, and he's gonna drop some knowledge. So last week, if you tuned in, we talked a little bit about hiring and retention and what it takes to keep your people around when you want to have a team, and some of those key aspects that really need to be in place. Today, we're going to take it a little bit on the opposite end of, how to get leverage in your business, whether you're building a team or it's just you, by yourself and maybe looking at hiring an admin or hiring a transaction coordinator, some other staff for leverage purposes. We're going to talk about how you can gain leverage without having to just hire more people. I know that's typically where our minds go first is, well, I have to hire people to do these, to do some tasks and provide leverage for me. But there are ways around that. So Kelly, let's get into that today, how not to hire more people.
Yeah, exactly. And before you think, well, the answer he's going to say is AI and that's it. You're wrong. Now, granted, AI can
that can be a piece of it. Yeah.
Play a role, no question about it, right? But we're not going to go into absolutely all AI on this episode because there's so many other things that you can do. Now, this episode would be very prevalent before AI, honestly. That's years ago, 5, 10, 15 years ago. But using some technology is very, very smart, and you absolutely should do that. So, number one, I want to say this, that people are an investment, okay? So you look at signing your dollars that you earn in your JOB, whatever that is, and how can you get more out of the money that you are investing in whatever those investments are? And there's real estate, there's businesses, there's commodities, there's all kinds of stuff. But did you know that people are an investment? Now, granted, that can be the business. It falls into the business, investment to an extent. But I know a smart man, Gary Keller, many years ago, said that if he had $100,000. And he had to choose between, do I put this into real estate? Do I put this into maybe buying someone else's business? Or do I put this into hiring an individual or two? He said he would choose to hire an individual two every single time. Obviously, that's assuming you have that need, of course, right? But because the return on a good hire can be infinite to an extent. Whereas that same money put to work on a real estate deal could be ROI of 10%, which is fantastic or whatever, but it's not compounded to the point where if you hire. Now, the reason why most people don't do it is because it comes with headaches. People, let's be honest, are headaches. Yeah, it's like, man, I have all these employees. I've heard people say that, business owners, and I'm like, oh, I got 36 employees. I'm like, holy cow, that's a big staff. You have 36 headaches. He's like, yeah, I know. But you get the right people, and it does make a lot of sense. So I don't think this is not an encouragement to just ignore that aspect and not hire anybody. That is not the case. But there's some things you can do to fill in the gaps between hire number 1, hire number 2, because when you need that second person, or hire number 6, hire number 7, right? When you need that next person, and there's gaps you can do, or maybe 0 to 1, right? And so let's talk about what that looks like. And number 1 for this is going to be to anything that you do more than once in your daily task needs to be documented. Okay? Let that sink in for a second. Needs to be documented. If it's repeated more than once, it needs to be documented. Now, that can be on the form of an SOP, which sounds really boring, right? Standard operating procedure. But yes, you should do that. Now, a lot of people do it with video. And you can do both. You can do one or the other, but you have to document it. Now, video is awesome because with Loom and with Zoom and with all these screen share applications that are free, it makes it very easy to create and screen record.
You just do it. And yeah.
Just do it and record yourself doing it. It's the only difference. And then you save it in Google Drive or Dropbox or whatever cloud-based system you want to use, okay? And then you start creating your training manual. We use Google Drive and we have a whole manual. So a long time ago, we set up a manual on the back end with like some root folders, right? So you log into Google Drive, you're going to see, I think we have 6 folders, right? HR, financial, sales, operations, marketing. I think we have 5. And then from those 5 folders, everything else has subfolders, and we have our training manual that way. And so every time we record a video, which we record a good amount of stuff, it goes in one of those folders. Okay. So that's number one. You really have to make your work that is reusable be reusable. Okay. Not just for your other people, but for yourself. Okay. Now, the second thing is going to be that with number 2 is that you can actually hire freelance people. Okay, like independent contractors. So before a lot of people just jump right in. Hey, I need to hire somebody. I need marketing. I have a need here. Okay, cool. I need to hire somebody. Well, do you, or could you utilize places like Upwork or Fiverr first to see, how that works? Will you maintain that same schedule of all these marketing things that you're going to do? It's a way to test drive the car.
What you're going to commit to, or what works too, is another.
Yeah.
Try out different strategies and see what actually works too.
That's right.
Before committing to a full-time hire to do that thing.
100%. Take the Uber to the airport before you hire a driver. To take the airport all the time, because maybe you're not going to the airport as much as you think you will, or whatever, right? That sort of thing. So I would definitely say, number 1, you want to record and document as many things that you do more than once, as many times as you possibly can. Create that library, that training manual on the back end. Number 2, utilize the gig economy. Utilize people that can do contract work for you. Now, I don't think it's a long-term solution for something you're going to do consistently. I don't. But you can also find the people you want to hire long-term, potentially, if they're okay being virtual, from those places too. Because some people, as you know, Elizabeth, they might want to actually be a full-time worker with someone. There's one client they can just focus on, as opposed to having to worry every day they wake up, am I going to get a job on Upwork or Fiverr today? Right?
Yeah.
So you find the right person, it makes a lot of sense. And number 3, I think you have to define what the goals are. Okay, what the goals are for you, what you actually want. There was a person I was sitting in the mastermind the other day, and he asked this question. And this would be me being very transparent right now. Okay. Because I've been doing this 21 years, and there's, I don't care if you're picking up the trash for 21 years as a garbage man, or teaching for 21 years, or a marketing manager for 21 years, or whatever. You start going through the motions to an extent, right? And it's like, okay, you do your thing, you know how to do it well, and you show up. But the question was, when it came to like goals for the end of the year or next year even, and all these things that help you get those goals: marketing, spend money, right? Budgeting, your P&L. Question was, what do you want? And I don't know why, but it just sat there. I was like, that's a great question, because for so many years I knew my goal was to continue to grow. Let's build this thing, and I went through all kinds of iterations of this over the years of my career, like expansion, have an office in all 50 states to, just add 1 agent a month, or add a couple of transactions a month, right? So it's been through all these different iterations and big and small and all stuff. But for whatever reason, it just hit me like, what do you want? And I was like, I don't know. You want to make money. You want to provide a big life to other people. That's 2 of my big things, right? Whether it be clients or agents on your team. But in terms of like I honestly, I've been struggling with that question, but it just hit me like a ton of bricks. So I think you need to define what you want, and that can change. And I've for 21 years, I've always known that. At least I thought I did, right? And I think I did. And whether you hit the goal or not is one thing, but you knew what you want, you're going after it. And right now I'm trying to figure out that, okay, what is it I want? Do I want to grow? Do I want to maybe go with just a smaller team, maybe, and try to get some ninjas and do more transactions? Or do we want a bigger team and see how that transpires? Or do we want to hire more staff? Do we want to not, or whatever, right? So we're still going to do that, but you want to define what your goal is, and then go.
And it takes some
after
reflection. Yeah.
Yep. Yep. And when you define what that goal is, how you can gain more leverage is then you have the ability to look into the technology piece. Okay. This is where I want to get to the technology piece, right? You have, I don't need to go through all this. Everyone knows the AI, obviously you can have AI agents out there. You can have AI callers out there. You can have AI system for converting leads and lead follow-up out there. You should be taking advantage of as much of that as you can afford, but don't go all in if you don't have the reserves in your bank account to be able to sustain the ability to not have a closing for still, even with AI this, AI that, 2, 3, 4 months, or whatever it is. Okay. So get clarity on that. Define your goals, time block your day. Okay. Time block your day. And it's amazing how when I'm very focused on my schedule and what I have blocked out and I don't have distractions, how efficient I actually am. Okay. And again, when I go back to the gig economy, that also goes for showing assistance. There are systems out there, there are ways out there to be able to have showing assistance to help you out with your business so that you don't have to be out there every single time if you're working with multiple clients at the same time. So, again, using CRMs, using job boards like Trello or Asana are phenomenal. Asana integrates with Slack. We use that. So now you have a messaging app, and if you're with yourself, you don't have to do a whole lot of that. But if you have 2 employees and trying to figure out if I should go to 3, what can you do to extract more efficiency out of the daily lives of yourself and your people? And I think recording yourself and having SOPs and documentation, I think utilizing the gig economy when you get a little bit busy, you have those ups and downs, right, in the month. And then number 3, defining the goal, the mission for everybody involved so that they know how to best efficiently use their day as well. So that's my top 3 step framework here for that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I do think that people, whether you're right now by yourself, you're looking to hire somebody, or, like Kelly said, you have a few people and it's like, do I make that next hire right now? It is there. You might think that you're doing everything efficiently and you're like, oh, I'm drowning. We need more help, right? But it is important to take a look at kind of those systems that you talked to. I think especially documenting it, because you're just going through the motions. If you sit down and document it, like even just the act of being aware of what you're doing while you're doing it, you're going to find little ways that you can improve it, right? And maybe shave off a few minutes of doing something and really maximize your time and your employees' time, especially if your employees are doing something, maybe you take a look at what they're doing and maybe now a second set of eyes, you can find ways that they can maximize their time as well, right? Because you kind of get stuck in your routines. You don't even realize where it could be a little bit more efficient unless somebody else maybe comes in and takes a look at what you're doing, right? And
So
all
true.
of that. So leverage your time, your output, and your current people's output before going to look for making a full-time hire as your next leverage. And if you get to that point where you have made all those efficiencies, at that point, that's when you look at it, right, Kelly?
Yep. That's
All
it.
right. Well, if anybody has any questions about this topic or any other real estate topic, we've talked on this podcast about, leading a team, hiring, recruiting, how to best serve your clients as an agent, mindset, AI, everything under the sun about real estate. And if you want to talk to anything to Kelly about any of those, Kelly, where can they reach you?
Hit me up, on Instagram. We love that platform at Kelly Cook Homes.
All right, everybody. We will see you next week. Bye, Kelly.
See you guys.